start Patrick Williams at this point. I agree with him because you need a bigger body. Javonte Green has done an admirable job this year, but he is 6'5", playing power forward. You got to give it now to Pat Williams that he's had a couple games on his belt. Take the minutes restriction off. Let him play. Defensively, we need him. As I said before, he's a natural defender. You don't really have to tell him what to do defensively because he's going to do it naturally, and that's where I think he can help the Bulls immediately.
Where are the Bulls going to get the other production from? We talked about it early on in the season, called them the OGs, the other guys. Right now, a lot of those other guys are being forced into greater roles, being forced into the starting lineup, getting more minutes, and sometimes getting exposed because of that, that more minute, that load, when you go from playing 20, 22 minutes and then you're in the 29, 30-minute mark, sometimes you get exploited. What needs to happen? Because if Kobe White is scoring the way that he scored tonight, Zach Lavine did his thing. Alex Caruso came in with 11 points, a couple of turnovers there in the second half that kind of hurt them. And Vooch only gave you, I believe, 16, if I'm not mistaken, 16 points and 9 rebounds. Where do the other guys fall in? The Pat Williams of the world, the Troy Brown Jr.'s of the world, some of the guys who aren't maybe in that top 3 option now that DeMar DeRozan is out for however long he's going to be out.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with having your starters hurt, because now you have guys that you put in a role, but it's not really defined for them. They're used to coming off of the bench and, contributing in that respect. But now, like you said, you have Caruso, who's in the starting lineup, who really, you see why he's the guy that comes off of the bench. You give him really too many minutes, then you see that he's really not a starter. He's the guy that comes off the bench, gives you great minutes, and perhaps finishes the game for you, but not a starter. Pat Will, I believe he should just be in the starting lineup. Let him play as many minutes as possible, because right now, defensively, that's who we need in the game.
It was about, trying to figure out what those lineups would be going into the playoffs. Now, you got to win games to get to the position that you want to be in the playoffs.
We got to win games, or else we're going to find ourselves in that play-in, and, it's just
somewhere you don't want to be.
Some place we don't want to be, especially if the Brooklyn Nets are there. So we're in a tough situation right now. Hopefully we can right the ship against Cleveland. Hopefully DeMar comes back. I don't know whether he will or not, but definitely need him for this game. We just need to win 3 out of the next
9.
9. Somewhere around there. And then I think we'll finish above, like maybe 6-5. If we can do that, then we'll be fine. Other than that, then, I'm a little bit worried.
All right, let's go back out to New Orleans, check in on Billy Donovan. The coach's press conference is brought to you by Nissan.
The sauce that you didn't see? I think the totality of the game, I thought in the first half, Joe, the fouling, the loose balls that we did not come up. They scored, I think, 9 points on loose balls. And then the offensive reboundings. So with all that being said, I was a little bit concerned at the half. You're down by 1 and you're 10 for 18 from 3. And it was all those things. It was the rebounding, it was the loose balls, and it was also the transition. We come out in the third, we don't get off to a very good start. I thought from about the 9-minute mark all the way down to maybe, 2 minutes to go in that third quarter, I thought we were really, really good in terms of how we needed to play identity-wise. I thought we were physical. We put our body on plays. We got out in transition. We created some steals. And then I think it was like the last 14 minutes, every media timeout. We lost every media timeout, in terms of that little game there. And I agree. I thought our composure of, not that, I get, Tristan's technicals. I'm not talking about that composure. I'm talking about,
I'm talking about like
yes, no question. And you know what, like self-inflicted plays, where, I didn't think our guard play was all that great tonight, all the way around. And we got to find a way to help Vooch more. He's got he's 7 for 11 tonight, and our guards have got to understand how he's being guarded and be able to find him. And listen, it wasn't just our offense that was Zach was incredibly efficient, so was Vooch, but we got to find those guys a little bit more. But I do think, to your point, things that possessions and long stretches of play, all of a sudden it's a 2-3-point game, and then all of a sudden it goes to 9. We make some stuff, then it goes to 15, then it's 17, then we get it back down to 10. But at that point in time, we're just trying to play catch up.
in this span, not just the 5 losses in 6 games or whatever it is, the last, 2-3 weeks, it seems like, and there were some very good defensive possessions. I thought Zach had some really good moments. There were guys putting their nose in there, like we talked about in the pregame, trying to draw charges. Alex didn't get one, but at least put his.
Troy tried one time. You got one.
And so there were those moments, but it just seemed the continual problem is when this team needs to make big stops and grab that momentum and understand that moment, it's not getting done. It's getting lost.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that there was, like, to your point, like, we were playing really, really well. I thought we were physical. I thought we were putting our noses in plays. We were rebounding. We were getting out in transition. We made some shots. Zach was really good in the third quarter. But, then we'll also have a couple careless turnovers. We don't come up with a loose rebound. We fouled. I mean, the fouls, just break momentum. We had so many plays that broke momentum for us and gave them momentum. But when you put a team to the free throw line, and listen, some of the fouls that we had were like, they're just really they're unnecessary. They're just unnecessary fouls, running into people. Just put your hands up and you're slapping down where you got an opportunity to make the guy finish a shot. Just maybe composure, carelessness. Those things really were, I think, really, really impacted us. And when we, to your point, needed some to make some plays, so to speak, we weren't able to make, clearly enough of them in the fourth. And them scoring 40 points in that quarter, it bled in there. And again, I tried to, maybe I could have put Vooch back in a little bit earlier. I played Zach 14 straight minutes. I could tell he was a little bit tired. I know he'd never say he would be, but I mean, that's a lot of minutes for what he was carrying that load. I had to get him off. I played him the whole third and started him the first 2 minutes there and then waited a minute to get Vooch back in. But, there was just even when we got the other guys back in, there was just too many things that we did in that fourth quarter that, the fouling, some of the loose balls, some of the missed shots, the turnovers. There was just a lot of things I thought that we kind of self-inflicted.
Really, Alex Kuzma talked a lot after the last game about this team's mentality on the road. The ball 16 and 21 now on the road. What are you, in your estimation, seeing on this team in the road struggles right now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, these guys are professional basketball players. I get there's a home court advantage, rightfully so, but these guys have been on the road before. I don't know what necessarily to make of the record. I do know that, I've said this before, sometimes on some of these road situations, our team has been totally different from road trip to road trip. You know what I mean? So it's like it's hard to sit there and say, okay, you're 16 and 21 with this group. It's been a lot of different groups, And then to your point, we've played, fairly well at home. So I think young players learning how to play on the road is important, of finding out, how to be able to do that, trying to find some consistency on the road. But, yeah, I mean, the record certainly says we have not been good on the road, and I don't know necessarily what would be, the reasons for that, but clearly that's what the record is.
Record is the record. It's time for us to take a look at our ConcreteIL.com player of the game, Zach Lavine. KG had 23 points in the first half, finished with 39, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, as you see right there, 23 shots. He had a lot on his shoulders with no DeMar DeRozan in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, 11 for 13 from the free throw line as well, attacking the basket. Tried to do everything he could. I think the best play of the game for Zach was actually 2 plays. He made a defensive block, then he got out, sprinted on the wing, and made the basket down at the other end on the same play. I thought actually that was the play that was going to turn the game around for the Bulls, but